This will be a good one.
It'll be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone to face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness.
You ready to go?
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the Hitting Zone podcast out here at beautiful CarShield Park. It's really nice under this tent that we're in right now.
Yeah, got a breeze.
Yeah.
You're not getting hit by the sun rays?
I'm not, which is, I need to be out of the sun. I'm allergic to it. It's my favorite thing to do to be outside, but I am allergic to the sun. Real quick before I get started on the topic I want to talk about today, tell everybody on the show, on the Hitting Zone podcast, what you guys are doing with Youth Baseball Midwest out here today at CarShield.
Premier Collegiate Developmental League, Brett Graves and Premier Pitching and Performance. I think they started this 2 years ago. I think it is, maybe more, something like that. And Brett's brought his podcast on to the Youth Baseball Midwest channel, and we got to talking about this and, just the synergy of what we bring and what we can do. And we're highlighting some of the athletes, the podcast we just did. We did a podcast from here, so there was a lot of fundamental things that we can do and branch out from it. So, and not to mention, once we're done here, we're going to just go out and live stream this baseball game.
There's a lot going on. That's pretty cool. I think that's a really unique opportunity for these young people that are out there to development. I like the way that they're warming up. They got live.
It's like a college setting is what they put it to. I should have said that. Sorry.
No, that's the vibe I got as soon as I walked up, and I was like, man, this is pretty sweet. I like what they're doing here. So we need to check that out, and you can do that. Make sure you're subscribed. You hit the notifications so that when you're on YouTube or you need to get them on your cell phone when this goes live, so you can watch what they're doing. This is for our future athletes too, to show that there's something outside of, there's still summer baseball for these guys outside of the normal, maybe Metro men's leagues or CarShield League, First Form. And this is a unique setting in its own, so it's different. So make sure, though, you go follow us on Youth Baseball Midwest so that you can get that information. Also, go check out Game7Baseball.com. They just wrapped up their World Series. We had a barn burner for our game. We lost 4-3, got walked off 8 innings. We played 8 innings of baseball.
And that was the team that won the silver bracket, too.
I think took second. Would they win it?
No, they won it.
They won it. We had them on the ropes. We had them beat 8 innings of baseball in an hour and 25 minutes.
That's a good game.
Both pitchers, no walks, no errors, lots of really good plays. Both teams selling out. That was really fun to watch. Was really proud of my guys. We had a call that didn't go our way.
Happens.
But we always talk about it, the 50-50, right? Somebody's going to be upset and somebody's going to be excited. We were the side that was a little upset. I had a conversation with the umpire. It was good. He came up to me actually after the game and said, hey man, I appreciate the way you approached me, in the conversation instead of being all huffy and puffy with me. And I was like, listen, I just wanted to know what you saw. I didn't think you were in a good position to move up the line because he was standing, in his normal spot. He didn't move up to the plate to get a good view. I said what I had to say. He said, that's good. And I went back in the dugout because you can't get thrown out in that situation, an emotional game. Plus, it's not even worth it. But shout out to Game 7 Baseball, the World Series, trying to do the best they can with the rain we got. So,
I saw a dandy semifinal, 14U, the open side. A kid from the O'Fallon Bombers. Tegan Ritter, remember that name.
All right.
14 Ks, complete game. One hit. Yeah, one hit, one run. Had and the 14 Ks is what stood out in that. Was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, that's 5 innings, 3.
And they walked it off in the bottom of the 7th.
Did he walk it off?
No, the shortstop, Maddox Hyatt walked it off.
Nice.
It's cool, fun. It was a good weekend, man. Good weekend.
Lots of baseball was being
Yeah.
played everywhere. Parks were full. It was my first time out at Plymouth Park. Really liked Plymouth Park. They're doing a nice job over there. But I just wanted to touch base because we're getting ready for tryout season. Teams are making changes. There's lots of changes from the youth, from the middle school side to the high school side, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I've been getting a lot of questions about training.
Yeah.
And schedules, like what the season will look like, and it got me thinking about what's important in this game right now. And so I wanted to bring you on the show just to have this conversation, because for me, and I'm a club owner, I'm a facility owner, and I'm an instructor. Mm-hmm. So I got all three hats I'm wearing in this conversation. So I'm trying to do my best here, but for me, like I think the training right now for our athletes is one of the most important drivers, with a lot of the data that's coming out on the size of these athletes. And you look at these guys out here, there's nobody out here that's 6 foot tall and 145 pounds. These guys are out here. They look like they're in good shape.
Some grown men out there.
Yeah. I looked at this young man out here, I think his number's 27 or something like that. He looks like he's about 6'4", 230.
Marcus Graham. He's from Melbourne, Australia. He plays at Mobat.
That's an NAIA school. If people
and a very good one.
And a very, very good one. So don't you sleep just because it doesn't say D1 on that side. That is a very good team, and they do a really good job of recruiting players. Dudes. So, but I wanted to bring that up because it's something I'm passionate about, is the training side. And I think that, as you start to progress into the high school side, I think gameplay is needed, of course.
Yes.
But I don't think it should be your priority. And I'm not saying it needs to be a year-long journey in training, because you have football, basketball, other sports you might play. But I do believe that there should be a large focus on the training side.
Well, I think there's balance to everything. You have to be balanced in everything you do. You have to keep everything in a perspective, a focused perspective. Baseball, training, a lot of times, if you see it like here, you came in here, they warmed up, they had the big, the hitting deal up over home plate, I forget, Bubba, Turtle, whatever people want to call it. They got in their BP, they did a little light scrimmage. But while they're doing BP, you got coaches on either line hitting ground balls, fly balls. You got guys throwing out here in the outfield. It's what you see at the higher levels in a practice setting, because when they only get so many days to practice. It's baseball. It's a grind. So you have to get your work in different settings, and that's, I think, the difficult thing for us now with youth levels. We don't have those settings. You go, you get your in out, and you get 15 minutes before the next game and you go.
Yep.
So where are you getting this work? And I think that's where we have to, be creative. Practice, you got to save arms. You don't want to do this. You've got so many things. I think an increase in roster size would go a long way, but that's for a whole nother segment. But I think you have to start being creative in how you set your practice schedule. Weeks off, do you give guys just a chance to rest their arms? And then how do you set yourself in motion? I think I don't think I have a really good answer in certain respects, but you got to have practice. But I think you also have to, how do you set yourself in motion that way? How do you get that work in fielding ground balls before games and things like that in the elementary, middle school, the tournament style baseball?
Yeah, I think it's the hustle of what tournament baseball is.
Yeah.
You got to get on the field right away. You're not even letting the other team out of the dugout, and you're already trying to get your crap on the field.
Yeah.
And because you got to play catch, you got to do whatever you got to do.
Right.
I think that's part of the training process, is what do you even do before the games, how you stretch, how you do your routines, what's expected out of those routines. And, for me, I think that encompasses the training. So like we do dailies. So before a game, before we do our line work, because you can't do a full in and out, and youth are on the grade school, middle school levels, or even high school for that matter. There's not enough time in between, so you do line work. You hit third base and you hit in the outfield, and you do what you got to do. But we do quarterbacks. We call them quarterbacks, where we run a 90, we run a 45, we run a straight back, working on our footwork for outfield stuff. And then we do like a two-step drill, and it's just simple roll ground balls, short hop drills. Those things right there, I think, are important in our game, because those are reps that you might not get in a game.
Right.
You might not get a ball hit to you in right field. So
Yeah.
you have to be prepared. So when do you do it? And that's what I mean by the training side versus, is it important to play 60 games in a summer for high school, or is it important to play
And I think
practice more?
No, I don't think it's so much practice more, because you still got to give. I think you have to manage health a little bit more when they're younger. And I think there's some great topics, pieces in this as you go. But I think it's still just a matter of how you manage through that and finding those spaces where you can get your work in through the season. And I think find that space in there, how you do that. I think that's the challenge of baseball, because you still got to rest arms.
Yep.
You've got to do those things. You've got to get, and if you're throwing 4 days like here, and then you go in a tournament, you throw 4 days in practice, you can't sustain that. And so I do think minimizing the amount of games, I think that's the tough thing. I think there needs to be a thought process. You see a high school schedule is 36 games. Folks, 36 regular season games. I see 9-year-olds playing 60. Wrong. It's wrong.
I think it's a lot.
It's too many. As a 9-year-old.
I think it's a lot.
I mean, 25 is probably good. I mean, if you want to play and you can spread that out, go to the lake.
I think
Go
36
swimming.
is good if you're in middle grade school baseball.
That's fine too. Yeah, 30. But a high school season, and it's crammed into
3 months.
Exactly. And then you have the high school Legion season. These guys are playing sometimes 40 to 45 games in about 6 weeks.
Yep.
So you understand the grind of this. So spread that out for these little guys. I think 8U through, even 12U, you can keep it at a 36 game, spread it out, let the parents go to the lake, enjoy their lake house for a week, take a week off. It's okay. You'll get there. You've got 4 months from March, April, May, and June, and then even into July now, you got 5 months to spread that out.
For sure.
Enjoy the summer, enjoy the spring, enjoy the summer, get you some work in. Maybe you take a week off here, and then you have another week off where you're just working. You've got notes from the first half of the season, and you take an all-star break, and you work on things that you've had. I think there's ways to do this. It isn't always just about gameplay. And then go and see if you've improved in the second half of your season.
Yeah, I think part of fundamentals, I saw this, a big leaguer said, or actually it was Herm Edwards that said this. He said, fundamentals, what is fundamentals, and how do you spell it? And the first 3 letters of that is fun, right? So when we do these things and we're playing these games, or we're practicing, or we're training, all of this still has to be fun. So I think the gameplay is the fun part of it, from all the hard work that you put in the off season. It shouldn't be something that we're looking at going, oh my God, I can't believe the season's over. So excited that it's over, because it's such a difficult thing to do. And then I think that's how we lose the passion for this game, is every single year you're just so excited about the season being over, more than you are, wanting to maintain the work. And, that's my big thing. And that's my big challenge, is trying to find that happy medium. And I am a strong believer that Legion needs to make its comeback for high school baseball. I've been pushing that conversation with a lot of my folks, is like, let's get in the gym, let's get bigger, faster, stronger. Let's get into these Legion programs. They're cost effective. And I'm a Legion guy, so that's where this comes from. It's 100 years of Legion baseball. So
this year.
Yeah, I got to spend 5 of it, of my time in there. I was actually one of the few 8th graders that got a chance to make the Legion team. So there's always going to be a place to play, always. get your work in. That's what I wanted to talk about today. It's been on my mind with a lot of the conversations I'm having. The Hitting Zone, STL.com. You can find out how you can train with me if you want. But let me know your thoughts on what you think is important, or how do you balance it as a coach, as a parent, as a player. How do you manage your training, your practice routines, and then the gameplay? I'm assuming parents, especially at a young age, is play, play, play till it's the last 3 weeks of the year. They're like, oh my God, thank God it's over. So after you've experienced your season, because we're there, let me know how you feel. And the only thing I got for you, for our fans out there, is just play the game as hard as you can, every single rep. It matters. I just posted this the other day. This game is played in moments. And they're individual moments. And whether you look at that as just one pitch, one swing, one ground ball, one line drive, all of this game is played on one single moment. Whether that, you ground ball, you field it, you got to field it, you got to throw it. Those are one moments. Ultimately, you have your one game, one inning, one season, it's over. And, live in those and do your best effort, because you can walk away from that proud if you put in max effort. So all you folks out there, have a great day. Make sure you check us out on Youth Baseball Midwest on YouTube. You have to hit the bell, that dinger, so that you can get those notifications if you're not already on YouTube. Because if you're on YouTube, I've learned this at least the last 3 shows, you know how to get to this channel. So, but there's a lot of great information, a lot of old games, a lot of highlights, a lot of player spotlights, and of course, make sure you go and hit that Hitting Zone podcast and watch some of the previous episodes. So, folks out there, have a great day. And Brian, thank you.
Absolutely. I'm going to go call a baseball game. I'm coming.